For many supporters, having a few drinks before a game is as much a part of the matchday experience as berating the referee. But since the Taylor report was published more than 20 years ago, fans are restricted as to when and where they can enjoy a few drinks on a Saturday afternoon. Ryan McKnight is the editor of football magazine FC Business. He's launching a campaign along with the Football Supporters Federation to change the legislation so that grounds become more fan-friendly.
We are seeing the inability and the prevention of football clubs to be able to sell alcohol in a specific way in regards to fans actually being able to take it out into the viewing area as a massive prohibitor to football clubs' revenue in that particular line. We think it's an archaic law, and it's certainly one that is preventing the business in that particular line moving forward.
As the law currently stands, supporters can have an alcoholic drink before and during the games in the concourse areas of the ground. But what I'm not allowed to do is take my drink into my seat to watch the game. And many supporters think it's about time these laws were changed.
Well, we'd like to see this particular law removed and then leave it to clubs to work out what's the best arrangement for their local grounds, whether they serve alcohol. If they do they do it in all of the stands? If they don't, do they allow people up onto the seats?
Thankfully, trouble at football games has reduced dramatically in recent times, but for one of Yorkshire's top policemen, a relaxation in alcohol laws would be a step too far.
The legislation, in my view, is not perfect, but I still believe that on balance, having that gap where people cannot drink while they're attending a football match, actually on balance is better than allowing them to drink through the entire event.
Spectators at other sports such as rugby and cricket aren't stopped by the laws, so isn't it time that football fans were given similar freedom?
I don't think it's a valid comparison between cricket and rugby and football. Rugby and cricket do not have and have not had the same sort of problems that have blighted football. And that is the reason why I believe that the comparison isn't particularly valid.
I find it very personally offensive that this legislation basically suggests that because I'm at a football match and I'm a football fan, I'm likely to behave in a less admirable way to my counterparts who support rugby union or rugby league clubs.
9 of the Football League clubs in our region declined to comment on the subject on camera, but those that we did speak to weren't keen on the idea of changing the laws.
The game's made some great strides over the years since the 80s and 90s of crowd trouble, crowd behaviour, and I think by bringing back alcohol back into even seated areas for the supporters is not the step forward that I believe that the game should be going down.
I think football really is not ready for that sort of legislation. We have a different culture to both cricket and rugby, so I think it would be counterproductive to my second point, which is really that we are looking to having a family club, and I don't think alcohol mixes with that.
At Bradford on Saturday, we found a mixed response from supporters on the topic.
I've been supporting football now for a long time and I've not seen any trouble within the grounds for 15 years. So I can't see what having a nice quiet drink with your family and friends would do any harm to anybody within inside the grounds. A lot of the trouble now seems to be outside the grounds.
I don't see any problem having a drink outside or actually outside in a pub before you come into the ground. But I do think it's troublesome by having a drink or allowing drinking within the grounds.
We should be allowed to enjoy a pint and watch our football team. We do it in Europe, we do it at any other venue in terms of sporting events. We'll do it at the Olympics, but we're just not allowed to do it at football. And I think in the 21st century, that's absolutely ridiculous.
22 years after the Taylor report was published, opinions are still very much divided. But will football ever return to the days when supporters could enjoy a pint on the terraces?
The Football League and the authorities, and indeed the government, have got to really look upon this piece of legislation as a real restraint of trade that hasn't got any justification anymore.
I don't say that we need to never move on from the Taylor report. Things do change, but I still believe that many of the principles that were laid out in that report have stood the test of time and are still relevant to football matches today.